He is a highly acclaimed motivational speaker, author, and coach, as well as a former world-class sprinter in track. His client list includes some of the most successful up-and-coming athletes out there, including the guy you're going to look at right there. Look at him go. Derrick Henry, running back for Alabama, recently nominated for the Heisman Trophy. And it's another young lady you see right there, Carly Lloyd, getting it done, leading the U.S. women's soccer team to a World Cup victory. These are big deal athletes, guys, and we have been waiting all week to meet him. Please welcome the CEO and president of Almon Gunter Motivates, Almon Gunter, to the show.
Yeah, I feel like we should start chanting USA. USA.
I know.
So just because of you, I woke up before my alarm clock this morning. I'm just going to say
Okay,
motivated.
that's what I like. That's what I like. Good. I like motivate.
Listen, I mean, your story is just so rich and your success is so wonderful. So we're just going to start with the basics. Tell us, you know, where you came from and how did you get to this place?
Actually, I grew up in Baldwin. It's about 25 miles
Yeah.
west of here, a little old town.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we know
But
it.
we do have a traffic light now. But when I was
Yeah.
growing up, it was just a caution
Do you
light.
have a Starbucks?
No, we do not have a Starbucks, but we have everybody's restaurant, which is awesome. It's a
Everybody's
staple.
restaurant.
Everybody's
Everybody.
restaurant.
That's what it's called.
Oh, my.
Oh, is that what it's called?
It's called Everybody's Restaurant.
That's cute.
And
That
it's
is cute.
awesome. It's awesome.
You also have the trails.
Yes, we do.
Which I visit.
Yes, we do. There you go. There you go.
Now, you were quite the athlete in your early years. I mean,
Yes.
you were a world-class sprinter.
Yes.
So tell us about some of your accomplishments. In particular, I mean, you had some great sprint time or something?
Well, I mean, it just simply means if you take my wallet, I can catch you.
I like that.
I mean, it's honest.
I ran 200 meters, and at one time was 13th in the world. I ran 20.1 seconds. So
Wow.
for 200 meters. So.
You still remember that?
Yes.
Of course.
Oh yeah, you don't forget that.
That's fun.
Now, for someone who is doing such a great job mentoring other athletes, you had to have had good mentors in your life that kind of inspired you.
Oh, totally. Well, actually, my family was just so many athletes. You know, all of my cousins were older, they're bigger, they're like 6'4", 6'3", and they all played ball. So I kind of just grew up thinking that this is what you do. But I had a great track coach in high school, Claude Simmons, who was also my football coach, had great basketball coaches. So, I mean, I was surrounded by a bunch of athletes that were just amazing.
Do you think that's crucial for young athletes to have specific mentors in their life?
Oh, most definitely. And I think the other thing, too, I think it's very important for athletes to compete against older guys. So I grew up in a time
Yes.
where, you know, my cousins were 5 and 6 years older, and they did not care that I was 12. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, they
pushes
just beat
you.
up. And so what you did was you learned how to problem solve. You learn how to be tougher. You learn how to do some things, you know. But I was a nerd, so, you know, I was.
You were a nerd?
I am
way.
totally a nerd. All of my athletes would tell
I
you
don't
that.
get that.
Oh, yeah. I'm a superhero. See, the way it works
Yes,
is,
I know.
the way it works is, I was all into education. I never missed a day of school, kindergarten through 12th grade.
What?
I just knew that
Wow.
was the way.
You got that award.
Yeah, I
That
did.
attendance award.
I
That's
got that
impressive.
award. But being an athlete was just, it's how I grew up, you know, so that was just part of it. But to me, it was all about education and studying.
never
and,
missed a day of
and
school.
so that's,
Yeah, that's
So
what
you had tremendous success as
Yes.
an athlete, the peak of it being for you?
Yeah, the peak of it being, you know, a couple of Olympic trials and then going and representing the U.S. in about 15 countries for 6 years and running for Nike and just doing some things that was pretty good. Coming from Baldwin, I mean, we didn't have a track at my high school when I grew up. So we ran out on the road. So to go from that and
Wow.
be able to run eventually in 7 different Olympic stadiums around the world.
And from that, you parlayed that success into a very successful career as a motivational speaker.
Yeah, which I kind of fell into.
How'd that happen?
Well, actually, you know, believe it or not, in 1991, my 4th grade teacher, Miss Delilah Pennywet, saw this news piece
Shouts
on
to Miss
me
Delilah.
that I was getting ready to go to Europe to compete, and she was actually retiring that year, and so she told her kids that that's one of my 4th grade students, you know, and so I went in and spoke to the kids. They loved it, you know. Fast forward, you know, 7 more years. Next thing I know, I'm speaking and talking and.
That is amazing.
It is.
Now, some of these young kids and others call you G-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I think I know why, but can you explain to our people?
Well, it's funny. The whole G-Man thing actually started in New Jersey with Carly Lloyd. Her actual soccer coach is a guy by the name of James Galanis, and he's Australian. And so I used to go up and train, and he'd say, "Hey, G-Man." So all the kids started calling me G-Man. And so then when I got here, because my last name is Gunter, it's like, "Hey, G-Man." So
Okay.
that's how it all worked out.
All right, so just a little shortened thing. Or could they not pronounce your name?
Well, you know what? What's funny funny is
You never know with kids.
most people can't pronounce my name.
Really?
Just think about it. It's Almon, A-L-M-O-N. So when I say Almon, a lot of times people are like, what? And most people pronounce it Gunter, but it's actually Gunter. It's German.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you know, yeah, the name could be a little difficult for people.
Gunter.
So I hear that you are a pretty tough coach. I hear that you bring the tears, baby.
What?
What?
I make them cry.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
make them cry.
No shame.
Now, what is it that keeps these kids coming back to you?
Besides being crazy,
Well,
it's funny. I started kind of researching my kids after they move on. I mean, I've got kids now that have PhDs and kids that are 28 and married and kids, and they still call. So I started saying, hey, why do you guys still aggravate me? I thought I got rid of you. And what they say is this, to the letter. They always go, Coach, because you're consistent. We know what we get with you. You know, you'll be the first to tell us when we get it right. You're the first to tell us when we get it wrong, but you're consistent. You love us enough to give us the hard stuff.
Do you think that's the most important thing that a coach or a
Totally.
mentor could be, is consistent?
Well, totally. I mean, think about it. At the end of the day, kids really want to have boundaries. They want to know that
Yes.
you love them enough for them not to like you. So I constantly tell my athletes all the time, hey, look, I know right now you're saying some stuff under your breath, but it's under your breath. And you'll thank me when you're going to college and you're doing the things that you want to do. Like right now, I'm not interested in being your friend.
Right, you don't want to be
Yeah.
their friends.
No,
You're there
I'm
to
here-
teach
push
them.
them.
or-
You
Teach 'em,
you
yeah.
brought me
Yeah.
in to get you to a certain point, and that's what I'm going to do. Because
how
at
do
the end of the day,
they-
it's
oh,
life
sorry.
skills for me. It's
Yeah,
life.
How
it
do
is.
they bring you in? Because you don't advertise your services. So is this all by word of mouth?
Yeah, I'm like the great odds, the man
Yeah.
behind the curtain.
Jeez, obviously worth
for,
it.
for 17 years, the whole kids part of my business kind of happened because of a coach, Dave Silverberg, whose daughter Jenna was the first athlete I ever trained. And all of a sudden, people just started calling. So now it's kind of funny because people call and say, well, you know, I know someone that know you and you trained their kid. So that's how you kind of get in.
Doesn't
there.
that sound so shady,
Well-
though? I know someone who knows someone
Yes.
who knows you,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, it is. Yeah. But I like it that way. You know what I like about it is the people that come to me, I know they really want to be with me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, I don't waste my time or parents' money, so I put that right out front. So if you're a kid and you're showing up, oh, we're going to get you where you want to be. I mean,
And the
that's-
results start to come,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then they
Oh,
are
yeah.
hooked
That's it.
indeed.
You know, real
Yes.
quick before we go, because
Yes.
this is important, because when I read this, it really resonated with me. You say, show me your friends or your circle of influence.
Oh, definitely.
And I will show you your future.
All day.
That is like drop the mic situation.
all day.
I strongly believe that.
You show me who you're hanging out with, I'll
I'll
show
show
you how
you
it's going
your-
to all
Yep.
shake out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not rocket science.
Well, listen,
And I
the-
hang out with these ladies.
yes,
Well,
what does that
exactly.
say? Listen, your roster of athletes is deep and rich and
Oh, yeah.
successful. We have a picture. I think we have time for it, Jamie, before we go. Yes or no? Do we have time? There it is. Okay, so the girl on the right, that's Angeline Daly, a junior at Ponte Vedra. She's already committed to FSU for soccer. Then this young man goes to Paxson. He's a
Yep.
senior there.
Yep,
He is
Braxton.
looking to commit at Princeton or Columbia. This young man, Assumption, he's
Yep.
going to be going to Assumption. Of course,
And
we've
there's
got,
Henry.
yeah, Derrick Henry
We
there.
know about him.
This pro soccer player in Boston now, and Trey Nickerson, he's a junior at Florida Atlantic University. So the interesting thing about that is these are all different kinds of athletes in all different kinds of sports. Your training is effective no matter what your specialty.
Because at the end of the day, it's about speed, agility, and mental toughness. I don't care what sport you play. If you don't have those things, you're not going to be very effective.
Listen, we've got more to talk about, okay? You going to
We
stick
do.
around?
Please
I'm
stick
yeah,
around.
we're not done.
I'm not going anywhere.
All
I'm
right,
here.
when we come back, we're going to talk about this young man from Yulee who is setting the college football world on fire right now. We're talking Derrick Henry when we come back.